Hey, everybody. Welcome to Transparent Talks with God. I am your host, Hironique Jackson, and I am so excited for you all to be here. Today, we're going to be talking about take the leap. Now, last week for episode 4, we talked about blind faith and walking blindly by faith and, just trusting God, not knowing how it's going to look like, not knowing the outcome, not knowing, you know, what it is that we're actually getting ourselves into, but we are just blindly trusting God, blindly walking by faith and not by sight. And so God came back and was like, give a part 2 to this word, and it is called take the leap, to encourage you to take the leap. If God is giving you something that you need to, you've been looking for confirmation, and you've been asking him to send you confirmation to do something. This is your confirmation. Okay, he sent me as your confirmation to tell you to jump, take the leap, and go do what he told you to do, because he already has it sorted out for you. He already has the plan sorted out for you. He already knows how it's going to end. He knows how you're going to begin. He knows the middle. All he's waiting for you to do is take the leap. So let's get into it, okay, y'all? So, how do we take the leap of faith? How do we just jump into what God has called for us to do in the unknown? Like, how do we just continue like we talked about last year like we talked about last episode of walking by faith and not by sight. I'm going to tell you, for me, um me doing this podcast was definitely me taking the leap. Like, God had told me back in, I want to say 2021, to start a podcast, and I like bought all of my equipment. This was the first time that I got all of my equipment, right? I bought all of my equipment for the podcast. I got everything that I needed, and I had the name. It was different from what the name is right now, because it wasn't going to be related to any of this. So, had the name, and I just stopped. I never went further. I never went and tried to pursue it further. And that was what, 2 years ago, y'all. 2 years ago, of placing something that God told me to do on hold, because I was scared. I was afraid. I didn't know what it would look like. I didn't know, you know, anything, right? And I little faith, right? My little faith didn't let me completely walk into what God called for me to walk into, right? So 2 years later, now here actually walking out this journey, now here actually after I've taken a leap of faith and done doing what God has called for me to do, um I'm here to tell y'all, like, listen, do not let fear hold you back from walking through that door that God has removed so much for you, so that you can walk through. Like, he's already got the plans in order. He already has everything that you need to do in order. He already knows your start from your finish. Like, he just waiting on you. He's just waiting on you to take this leap of faith. If God has been calling you to, for instance, go apply for a job, go apply for that job. The worst thing that you can hear back is a no. But if God told you to go and apply for that job, then you have to know within yourself, and also with your faith and belief of God, because he is not a liar, that if I go and apply for this job, and the job that God told me to go and apply for, I'm going to receive a yes. You have to know that what God has for you, another person cannot come and take your space. Another person cannot come and take your seat. Another person cannot come and take what God has said belongs to you. It is only you that can go and fulfill that space that God has called and appointed you to take on. So I was reading Ruth in the Bible, guys. We love Ruth. Everybody loves Ruth and Boaz. We love their story, right? But as I was reading Ruth in the Bible, I had to realize that Ruth also had to take a leap of faith, right? She also had to take a leap of faith. She could have decided to go back home, because Naomi was telling her, go back home, go back to your gods, go back, because I don't have any more sons for you to marry. So you got to, go back home. But she was persistent, and she was persistent in her stance. And she said, I'm going to go with you, and I'm going to accept your gods, and I'm going to follow you to your hometown, and I'm going to work. I'm going, whatever you need me to do while I'm there, I just want to come with you. She didn't even know that she was taking a leap of faith. She didn't even know that by her saying, I will accept your God and I'm going to follow and I'm going to go with you, that God had her whole life planned out. We know that Ruth's lineage is a very powerful and strong lineage. It was a lineage connected to Jesus. And if she did not take the leap of faith, if she did not follow after, Naomi, she would have never accomplished, she would have never met Boaz. She would have never accomplished all of the things that she accomplished in life from there, right? So I would encourage you to take that leap of faith. If you are like looking at something, you're like, I don't know how this is going to work, or I don't have the money for this thing, or I don't, have, girl, I just don't know. Basically, you like, girl, I understand what you're saying and I get it, but I ain't got the money for this, or my finances is lying to me, or, I have all these different areas that, is trying to come up in my life that's trying to tell me not to do this, and I'm listening to the spirit of fear. I need you to denounce that spirit of fear, because God did not give us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. And if God told you to go and do it, you have to know that he will see you through it. Take the leap of faith. Follow after God. Do what he told you to do. And I know, y'all, I know. Let me tell you something. I'm not here to just try to make it seem like, oh, do it because it's so easy and it's so much fun. Let me tell you something. This is not easy. Especially when you don't know like how it's gonna look, when you don't know like what the outcome is gonna be, you don't know anything, and you're like, God, you said move across the country. God, I don't know nobody inside of that state. I ain't got no family over there. I don't got no money. How I'm gonna do this? Whole time, God is like, if you just take up your cross, right? Pick up your mat and you walk. I'm going to show you all of the steps and all of the plans that I have for you to get there, to get to where you need to be, to get to this space, to get to that house over there. You over here worried about whether or not you have the money, or whether or not you know anybody, or whether or not you have a job. Take Ruth, for example. Ruth just followed. God had a job for her. God had a home for her. God had a husband for her. He had it all sorted out. So all you have to do is decide within yourself that I'm going to trust God despite what it looks like. I'm going to trust God despite what myself is telling me. I'm going to trust God despite what the voices around me is trying to tell me. Because, people will come and they will try to discourage you and say, girl, you don't know how that's going to look. Girl, don't do that. Girl, don't, whatever they want to say. But let me tell you something. If God told you to do it, just know that he is going to see you through it. He did not lie to you. He is not the author of confusion. He ain't gonna sit out here and just have you going across the country and leave you over there. Because sometimes it be feeling like, oh God, if I go over here, you probably just trying to leave me. But that's not the case at all. He is not trying to leave you when you go over there. He has everything sorted out for you. He has everything sorted out for you, and he's just waiting on you to take the leap. So I challenge you today, and whenever you watch this video, this podcast, or listen to this podcast episode, I challenge you to trust God so much with your life, to invite him into every area of your life, and genuinely take the leap of faith. Take the leap. Jump, girl. Jump, boy. Do it. Okay? Do what God has called and told for you to do, because you don't know. The truth is, you don't know what it's going to look like. But if you don't take the leap, and if you don't submit and do it, you will never know what it looks like. You will probably regret that you didn't take it, because maybe if I would have took it, then X, Y, and Z would have happened. But because I never decided to take that leap of faith, I don't know. Now I'm stuck and I'm settled, and I've settled in my ways, and God was trying to pull me out of this, and I decided to stay within this. Don't be that person. Take the leap of faith. Do what God called you to do. Start the YouTube channel, start the business, start the job, apply for the job, move across the country, move to another country if that's what he's calling you to do. Start the podcast, drop the song, do what he told you to do. Stop holding back. Stop holding yourself back from the blessings that God has for you. You don't want another person to come and take your spot. You don't want another person to come and take your place. Stop trying to figure it all out. It's not your job to figure it out. It's God's job to just, It's God's job to handle all of that. It says in his word, you know, it says in his word, don't worry about tomorrow because tomorrow has enough trouble of its own, right? Tomorrow ain't even promised, and it already got troubles of its own. So your job is to focus on today. And if God said to drop something or to go and move or do whatever, take that leap of faith. Trust God enough to be obedient. Trust God enough to be obedient. Trust him enough to know that if he brought you this far, he's gonna see you through this thing, right? He's gonna see you through it. Take the leap of faith. If Naomi didn't take that leap of faith, if she decided to go back home, who knows what her life would have looked like. But because she decided to take the leap of faith and she decided to follow after Naomi, God transformed her entire life. I would encourage y'all to go and read the book of Ruth as well. Go and read the book of Ruth. Did I say Naomi, y'all? Go and read the book of Ruth. I would encourage you to go and read the book of Ruth, because if Ruth did not take that leap of faith, then God would have never transformed her life. God needed her to do that. And like he needs you to take the leap. Like he needs you to go and do things, to start the business. Like he needs you to be that person in your family. Like he needs you to go and finish that degree. Take the leap of faith, y'all. Don't be scared. I know it's scary because you don't know what's on the other side, but you will never know what's on the other side if you don't jump. Take the leap of faith, guys. I had to take quite a few leaps of faith in my life as well, and it was scary jumping. It was scary taking a leap of faith of going to school. It was scary taking a leap of faith of moving out on my own and getting my own apartment. It was scary taking the leap of faith of doing this podcast. It was scary taking the leap of faith of just doing so many things that God wanted me to do. But I'm so grateful that I did, because what he taught me, what I learned in that, and what I received in that, my God, I just thank God that I was able to hear his voice and stand up to my flesh, stand up to the spirit of fear, and decide that I'm going to trust God despite what it looks like. Let him handle the storms. He is the storm stopper after all. He knows what's the cause of the storms. He knows how big they can get. He knows how little they can stay. Let God handle all of that. Cast all your cares and your concerns and your anxieties unto him and allow him to handle that. Your only job is to be obedient and take that leap of faith. All right, y'all? So this podcast episode was to just encourage you to take the leap. I pray that you all decide to trust God despite what it looks like and take the leap. Drop your testimonies in the comments when y'all take the leap. Drop your testimonies of what you're going to be leaping to, okay? Because I want to hear it. I want to read it. Drop your testimonies in the comments. But y'all have a great day. I love y'all, and God loves you more. Take the leap of faith. You got this. I believe in you. You got this. All right. Bye, guys. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I pray that this has blessed you. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share. Have a great day.